Now we're going to go to the back. We're going to talk about the Erector Spinae. So, to first clarify, there are numerous muscles that contribute to extension of the back. But we're just going to talk about the Erector Spinae for this course. We're going to keep the origin and insertion very general because the back is complex and there's a lot more to it. But this basic information is going to give us a good foundation to build from later on. So the Erector Spinae is going to be a back muscle. Its origin, generally speaking, is going to be the sacrum. Remember, the sacrum is this bone at the bottom. It's part of the vertebral column. You have the cervical vertebrae, the thoracic vertebrae, the lumbar vertebrae. Then you have the sacrum, and then you have the coccyx. So this area here is the sacrum, so that's where it's going to originate, and it's going to insert along the vertebrae of the spine. It's pretty general because we can break down this muscle, and there's other muscles that really contribute to this. So to keep it vague here, origin is the sacrum, insertion is going to be along some of these vertebrae up here in the vertebral column. So the Erector Spinae's responsibility or its action is to extend the spine. Erector Spinae. The Erector Spinae is going to help you stay erect or stand tall. So your Erector Spinae is going to help you straighten out your back. The Erector Spinae is found in the posterior aspect of the body because that's where your back muscles are located. Those are the muscles that's going to help you stay upright or erect. So it originates down here at the sacrum and inserts along the vertebral column. I'm going to move him out of the way so I can further explain. So the action of the Erector Spinae, or these back muscles in general we're talking about now, their job is to keep your back upright. They can also help you with back extension. So this is upright. We are kind of in that natural anatomical stance here. If those muscles were to contract more, where my insertion, so my insertion along my vertebrae get closer to my sacrum, it would look something like this. I'll show you over here. It would look something like this, bringing my insertion closer to my origin. It would look like this. And so this is what back extension is. So if you put your hands on your hips and you lean back, that's back extension. Try to do that without moving your hips though, so we don't use other muscles. Just lean back. That's your Erector Spinae action. That's its responsibility, is extending the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to concentrically contract the Erector Spinae, and then how to stretch the Erector Spinae. So let's first start with the concentric contraction. So what we want to do is we want to do the same as the muscle's action for us to concentrically contract it. So the Erector Spinae's muscle, its job is to extend the back or the spine. So we're going to do that in this exercise so that we concentrically contract it. What I'm doing here is I have this physio ball here. I have my feet pressed up against the wall for stability, so I can focus on my actual back. And what I'm going to do is I have this just at my pelvis and abdominal region, and I basically can flex over it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hands behind my head, and as I flex, and I typically start in the opposite motion I want to do, right, when I'm working, I'm going to then, from here, extend my back upwards, bring my chest up to the sky, and go down. As I come up, I am concentrically contracting my Erector Spinae. So, if I go up, my back is going into extension, therefore the Erector Spinae is shortening, and it is concentrically contracting. So that is one example of how to concentrically contract the Erector Spinae muscles. We may not all have a physio ball to work with. We can alter that. We can simply lay on the floor. We can work on just extension of our back from here. And what we're going to do is simply just extend our back. Notice there's less range of motion here. And that's because I can't go any further into flexion in order to go further into extension, but we still will work the erector spinae muscles doing that. As I go backwards into extension, that is when I'm concentrically contracting the erector spinae. In order to stretch the muscle, we're going to do the opposite of the muscle's actions. So if the muscle action is extension of the spine, this is the action, the flexion is going to be touching our toes. Why? Because the opposite of back extension or spine extension is going to be flexion. So this is extension of the back or extension of the spine, and this is flexion or flexion of the back, flexion of the spine. So if you were to stand up with me, please, so you can experience this. Stand up, put your hands on your hips, don't move your hips, lean back. That is you concentrically contracting your erector spinae. Now relax. Now what I want you to do, spread your feet shoulder width apart. Now I want you to hinge at your hips and drop your hands to the floor. Spread your feet a little wider if you need to, but as you drop your hands to the floor, if you can't touch the floor, grab your feet, grab your heels, grab your shins, grab your knees. Whatever it is, go down as far as you can, and you should feel that stretch in your back. Feel that stretch in your back. You feel that stretch in your back because it's the opposite of the muscle's actions, and therefore we are lengthening the muscle when we do so. So the erector spinae is just one of many back muscles that's in the posterior aspect that contributes to back extension or spine extension. We're kind of using it as an example and a foundation to build from later on. So just understand the origin is in the sacrum region. The insertion is along the vertebral column. Its action is back extension, and how to work it out concentrically is do back extension exercises. And to stretch it, we're going to do the opposite of the action, which would be flexion, bending over, and touching our toes. So that is the end of the erector spinae.